Hey, we're live. And it's another Monday morning, which means if it's 8:30 and it's a Monday morning, then it means that I'm live. Because that's what I do. Oh, straighten my old t-shirt out there a bit. It's what I do on a Monday morning. I go live on a variety of different platforms, YouTube, a couple of Facebook groups, my own Recycle Your Cash group, and a couple of pages, my Kevin Wright Property Finance Expert page. And why do I turn up here on a Monday morning? Well, it's because it's a property finance Q&A. And what we do there is that I'll hang around for 30 minutes or so, and a bunch of you will ask questions to do with predominantly with property finance, and then I'll answer them because that's what I do. And how do I know the answers? Because I've been a broker in property finance for more than 20 years, and some different people starting to say good morning. So good morning there. Some regulars and some new people there. Oasis has tuned in this morning, so good to see you. There's a familiar name from the past, so good to see you here. And people seem to like being able to just pop a question in there and get some answers. And we have quite a few people watch replays too, so you might be watching this live, but there'll be more people that watch the replay, because in whichever channel you're watching this, you can pick up the replay, so you can look at that at any time. I've got some really interesting news on that, because I've been doing these now for almost a year, since almost the first week that we went into lockdown one. I decided that I'd come on and just have a little chat on a Monday morning, and people tend to like it, so I've carried on doing it, and I'm going to carry on doing it. But the point of that is that I've got now over 40 weeks of these little Q&As, and they tend to last 40 to 50 minutes on average, and there's all sorts of different questions come up about every different type of property strategy pretty much over that time. And you might find it useful if you watch it live. You might find it useful if you watch the replay. But what about all those past Q&As, where think of all the gold and gold nuggets that are in those Q&As, and wouldn't it be great if you could just have some sort of search facility? So, for example, if you had a question on, I don't know, getting planning permission to convert a house into flats, wouldn't it be great if you had access to all of that sort of stuff, and you could pick through all these different Q&As and find out any time that I talked about converting houses to flats? Well, the good news is you can do that, because I've now got a word search facility, so that if you type in flat conversions, for example, any time in the last almost a year that during these Q&As I've mentioned flat conversions, up will come the exact point of every Q&A where I started talking about flat conversions. So I think that's a brilliant innovation. And how do you get access to this? Well, through a little service that I've got called Fiverr Tribe. And so literally that is for £5 a month. You can get access to this whole backlog of these videos, and use that as a resource. It's a bit like a sort of a wiki thing for property finance. Now, it's not the only reason to join Fiverr Tribe. You also get a video, exclusive videos that you won't see on my free YouTube channel. You get one of those every 2 weeks, and you'll get a discounted a discount to attend any live event that I run. So, or even a live stream event. So a buy, refurb, refinance summit, which I'm going to launch as a one-day event when I when we can go back to live meetings, and also my property finance masterclass, which happens to be this Saturday. So you get discounts there. So so I think that's exceptionally good value for £5 a month, which wouldn't even buy you a decent cup or 2 decent cups of coffee in Costa Coffee if it was open. So let me just put a link in here now. If you think, oh, this sounds interesting, hop over here and have a look at Fiverr Tribe. I think it's a great little innovation where you can get access to all the stuff that we chat about on a Monday morning. So there we are. So there we are. And I've got, so that's a question. Yes, Wilhelmine's popped in with the first question. Hope I've got the pronunciation right there. I did get the post you put in my Recycle Your Cash Facebook group. So I'll pop a link up to that, because if you're not a member of my Recycle Your Cash Facebook group, it would be good if you were, because we get some stuff going. We get some good stuff going on in there. There's it just went past 800 members over this weekend, so we're pushing on to 1,000, and we'll probably hit 1,000 members before Easter at the current trajectory. So good to see that question. So you posted it in the group, William, but you also popped it in there as well. So yeah, okay. So got a question. Great to see you here, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Equally welcome. And actually, if you're watching the replay, you can still post a question, because I'll still pick it up and I'll still answer it. So don't think you've missed the chance to post a question. So we've got a number of questions there. So we'll start off with Wilhelmine's one. Okay. Prefab modular loft conversion extension. Okay, so you want to, so this is for a semi-detached bungalow, because I've got the question you posted into the Facebook group up on screen. Semi-detached bungalow, 11 meters wide, and you want to do a speed of a prefab loft conversion. Quick slurp of my tea there. Okay, so of course it's building regs compliance, and you like the speed. So is it going to cause you? I'll get your question. Is it going to cause you a problem because lenders won't lend on it because is it classed as non-standard construction? Well, you know, a lot of non-standard in terms of let me say this, in terms of extensions, and that a lot of materials other than brick and block are used nowadays, particularly SIPS panels and that type of thing. So if you're buying this from a manufacturer, I would suggest that you check with them, because any manufacturer that's producing stuff like whether it's a complete new build or a part new build like you're looking at, is going to have usually a list of mortgage lenders that have pre-approved their model. You know, anyone bringing any type of build product to the market, I'm not talking about like sort of a length of plumbing pipe or something like that, but something substantial like what you're talking about. If they didn't get it approved by mortgage lenders, they could only sell to cash buyers, which is a massive limitation on their market, and most it wouldn't make good business sense to do that. So this sounds like a sort of pre-developed product that you're doing, William, but so I would expect that there would be an approval. But hey, if you want to give me a link to it, then just I'll give you my inbox me. Let me just put my Kevin Wright property finance expert. So for you and anyone else that wants to message me privately to have a one-to-one look at something, I'm just putting the link in the in the chat box now. So whatever you can get regarding them. So first thing, check with the manufacturers to see if they've got a list of approved mortgage lenders. My guess is they probably would have. But if you're getting a bit stuck there, then ping whatever you've got over to me in that private message, and I'll have a look and see what lenders are around for that. Good. Okay, so we've got a few more questions starting to come in now. Excuse me, clear my throat. Slurp of tea, crack on. Great, there we are. So got a good bunch of people along there. If you're liking this, then give me some likes. Got 3 so far, 3 likes. That's good. So we like likes. Okay, so let's see who we've got here. Okay, so we got Facebook user. Now, what this means is I go through a streaming thing called StreamYard. That allows me to send this out live in multiple channels. But if you're on Facebook, you have to give StreamYard permission to put your name up. If you don't, it just comes up as Facebook user, and it's not until I go through the comments later on in the day that I find out actually who it is. So what are the ways to raise funds for a project? Now, that's a very wide question. I think you're going to need to give me a bit more detail on what type of project you're talking about there. You know, are you talking about a new build project? Are you talking about a refurb? Are you talking about a conversion? So there are different ways to raise funds for different projects, but you're going to have to come back with a bit more detail on what project you're talking about. So give me some more detail on what it is you're trying to do. I'm happy to answer it, but I need more detail. Eric coming in through YouTube. Would you mind if you could advise what's the difference between a holiday let and a short-term mortgage? We have a short-term let, but it's been booking 12 months. Short-term let mortgage. Yes. Happy to say the difference, because there is a difference, and what you're talking about is holiday lets or serviced accommodation, Airbnb and the like. Okay, so holiday lets, people go on holiday usually for 7-day blocks. So if you're going, whether you're going in this country or in, do you remember those times when you could go abroad for a holiday? You know, you don't fly. I know you can fly out for a long weekend, but typically people go on holiday in 7-day blocks, usually 7 or 14 days. So holiday accommodation and, you know, any whether it's holiday lets in the UK or package holidays are all around 7 to 14 days. Now, I know that you can get 10-day holidays and all that type of thing, but the basis of holidays is 7-day blocks. You go away for blocks of 7 days. So holiday lets, you know, if you happen to have a seaside place in one of the coastal resorts in the UK, you're probably going to want to go Friday to Friday or Saturday to Saturday, depending on when your changeover day is. Now, that is a holiday let, and there are mortgages specifically for that type of renting. Now, serviced accommodation is different. Service accommodation run a model more akin to hotels. Now, you know, people stay in hotels for any number of days. You know, often it's a single night or a couple of nights or 2 or 3 nights, maybe if they've got, you know, if they've got to do business in a certain town or city. They've got a conference to go to. Remember conferences when we used to go to them? So, you know, and I'm, you know, when I'm running events around the country, as I hope to do later in 2020, you know, and I'll be using, you know, hotels for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nights, whatever it is, for the duration of my stay. So there's no defined, with short-term letting or serviced accommodation, there's no defined time brackets. It can be 1 night, 2 nights, or that type of thing. Now, that's a different type of short-term letting. So, and there are mortgage lenders that do serviced accommodation mortgages. Now, and they are a different thing. So some holiday let mortgage lenders say, you know, they want assurance that you're gonna, you are doing a holiday let. So location is going to be key, you know. It would have to be somewhere that was plausible for people to go on holiday. So, you know, maybe Sheffield. And if you live in Sheffield and you're watching this, no offence, but you probably don't get that many people going there for their holidays. So, you know, I mean, any coastal area, you know, I mean, you know, we've got more coastline than probably any country in the world, or something like that. So, you know, anything coastal. And of course, it's not only, people don't only go to the coast for their holiday, but so that's the difference. So, so you've got a short-term let. Now that sounds to me that you haven't got a holiday let. So you've got a serviced accommodation. So you need to have a serviced accommodation mortgage. Why can't you have a standard buy-to-let mortgage? Because they have a clause in their terms and conditions that limit your letting period to a minimum of 6 months. So you would clearly be breaching that terms and condition if you let on a on anything less than 6 months, which of course you are. Now, Eric, you've got my contact details there. I'll put them in there. Just ping me a message on my Property Finance Expert Facebook page, and we'd be very happy to look at a mortgage that would help you for that. And if you've got 10 months booking, another 2 months would give you a year's worth of trading, and that's going to open up a more choice of lenders for you. So really happy to help you on that, and thanks for your question. So Hemi's popping up with a question. First he says hi, well, hi, and then he's popped up with another question. So Hemi's coming in through YouTube too. I'm looking to remortgage my house to purchase another one. Great. Well done. I'm hoping there's another question further down. So I'm going to wait until, I like to do these in chronological order, because then I'm sure it's easier for me to make sure I don't miss a question rather than hopping backwards and forwards. So we're going to park that now, Hemi, because at the moment you've made a statement, but you haven't asked a question. So I'm going to hang around and see if you're actually going to ask the question based on remortgaging your house to purchase another. In the meantime, we'll just scroll through. Okay, so another Facebook user. Morning. What's the average interest rate for a buy-to-let project recently? Is that one we? So it might be the same one that says about what's the ways to fund a project. Okay, so let's look at that. What is the average interest rate for a buy-to-let project? Recently, I got approval for 3.5% for the first 2 years. Later on, it will be 5.4. Is there any option? Okay, so if you're talking about a project, see, I'm confused by your word project there, because normally, if you're going to get a mortgage on a buy-to-let property, you just buy it, rent it out, because that's what mortgages are for. Project, so it hints that you're actually going to do a big chunk of work to it. Now, if you're going to do a big chunk of work to it, that isn't necessarily what mortgages are for, because buy-to-let mortgages are essentially buying properties ready to rent, or with minor refurb works that you can do within a couple of weeks or so. So, so if you just want to rent a property out, then the way to fund it is buy-to-let mortgage. Now, what's the average interest rate? Well, there isn't an average interest rate, and what you should be looking for is the best one you qualify for. Now, whether you're buying in your personal name or in a limited company name is going to make a difference, because ones in your personal name have cheaper rates. So you've got an approval 3.5 for the first 2 years. So that'd be the deal. So let's say that's a fixed rate deal. And later on, it will be 5.4. Okay. So that would suggest that that's the standard variable rate. So most mortgages give you a fixed rate for a given period. It could be 2 years, but it could be 5 years. And then you revert to their standard variable rate. So is there an option? You don't need to change every. Yes, there is an option. Get a 5-year fixed rate. Now, again, if you want us to look into that for you, then just message me, and I'll and we'll send you out a fact find, and we'll do a full appraisal for you, and we'll find you the best rate that your circumstances qualify you for. Good. So thanks for your question. What else we got here? There we are. I'm scrolling down the chat box. Don't want to miss anyone. So here we are. Yeah, Hemi. Right. So you want, what is the best mortgage? The one you qualify for, Hemi. So now, if you want to refinance the house you live in, then that's all going to be down to the income you earn and how you spend it. Now, if you want us to broker that for you, then just ping me a message, and we'll very happily take a fact find from you, so we understand your circumstances, and then one of our brokers will research the market and come back with the best mortgage for your circumstances. So very happy to do that, Hemi. Thanks for your question. Graham, familiar face. There we are, Graham. Good to see you and on here and asking a question. So if you've equity in a property but cannot borrow any more by remortgaging due to affordability, is it still possible to use bridging using cross collateral? Very common situation there, Graham. Great question. Happy to answer it. Yes, it is. I understand the situation, because your ability to pull equity out of a property is determined by income. If it's your own main residence, your personal income. If it's a rented property, the property you rent out, it's the rental income, and that actually acts as a cap. I was looking at a case over the weekend. Someone has got a property. It's worth £500,000 or more, but they get 1,850 rent. So they said, we want a 75% mortgage. So I did a quick calculation, and to get a 75% mortgage, the rent would have to be $3,300 a month. So they're never going to get a 75% buy-to-let mortgage on 1,850 rent. Now I'm not sure whether you're talking about your own property or one that you rent out, Graham, and actually it doesn't really matter which it is, because the same applies. You've got a big chunk of equity there that you can't get out. Cross collateral bridging is not related to income, yours or rental income. It's purely equity in the property. So yes, you can use cross collateral bridging. Now, I've done a video on that, so I'm going to pop that video on how to use equity instead of cash, so that you, when we finished here, Graham, have a look at this video, or of course anyone else can have a look at that. Let's find that video. Here we are, equity instead of cash. Let's just pop that in, just copying that over. There we are. Right, just put that, should be now. Yeah, just pop that in the chat box, Graham. So scroll down and have a look at that. There's the video that tells you exactly how to do that. And, if you've got a deal lined up now where you want to do that, private message me in the way I've described just now or earlier, and happy to look at that. And if you haven't got a deal yet, then still message me and give me the value of the property and the mortgage you've got, and I'll tell you how much of that equity is free to use in cross collateral bridging. I'll be happy to work that out for you. And thanks for your question, Graham. Moving on. Familiar face, Norrin. Well, familiar name anyway. Can't see the face. Norrin, good to see you. Norrin's done my advanced training, Ninja Investor program. So good to see you there. Hope you're in good health. I am. Yes, thank you. Looking at a property that's tenanted but in need of work. What are the potential pitfalls when restoring the property with the tenants in situ? Yep. Okay, understand that. Well, the obvious pitfall is that they're going to get in the way. You know, they're going to be a serious barrier to getting work done. So the reality is you're not going to be able to do a refurb shifting them around room to room. So the best thing to do, and what people have done in the past, Norrin, is get them out of the way. Now, you're going to find that difficult in lockdown, but out of lockdown, then, you know, work out how long the refurb's going to take, whatever work you've got to do, and then just bung them in a Premier Inn or Travelodge or something like that. So budget hotel, put them in there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they come back and you've done the refurb. So that's how people handle that. Good. Thanks for your question. Who we got now? We got Carlo. Good to see you, Carlo. Someone else that's more recently started doing my advanced training. So you should be working through the online modules. Carlo, hope you're doing all right with that. Okay. Can you buy a residential and refurb it while still keeping your existing residential and avoid paying tax? Now, well, that depends, Carlo, on what tax you're referring to. So can you buy it and avoid paying stamp duty land tax? No, can't do that. You've got to pay stamp duty land tax. Clearly, you don't need two residential properties. So what are you going to do? Are you going to move out of the one that you currently live in and move into the one that you've refurbed? So if you're going to do that, then the tax issue, I'm not quite sure what tax you're referring to. So if capital gains tax is you pay when you sell a property. Now, I have to say here, I'm not an accountant, so I'm not qualified to answer questions on tax. But so you're going to have to tell me what tax you're referring to, Carlo. There, you can post it here, or you can just message me privately. There we are. So, okay. Now, if you're liking this sort of thing, I've actually got a next Saturday, 6th of February. I'm doing one of my property finance masterclass. It's a live stream 1-day event, runs from 10 till 3 o'clock. So it's this coming Saturday, and we go through the whole thing about buy, refurb, refinance, and I give you some good takeaway stuff and a showcase to my high level training. I'm going to pop the link in here now. Check the spelling of that as I'm typing that. Yeah, that's okay. So if you want to pop along and spend summer Saturday with me this Saturday, 6th of February, $24.91 plus VAT. So I'm not going to break the bank. I'm going to give you some real good insights into how you can do more with less. So how you can use less cash to buy a property and leave less cash in it once you've refined it. Of course, you can always flip as well. So if you there'll be a Q&A session like this as well. So if you want a lot more detailed information on how to get good on recycling your cash in and out of properties, then do that. So be good to see you there. So let me scroll back up. Got quite a few questions. Okay, so we're at the 9 o'clock mark, which I say I'm going to be here for half an hour, but it often turns into more than that. So we'll crack on and answer the questions. Okay, so someone else come. Robert. Robertas, good to see you. Thanks for your question. Can you tell me how to get more than 75% bridging mortgage? Well, you sort of mixing two questions there. Or two. So bridging isn't a mortgage and a mortgage isn't bridging. So bridgers tend to lend 75% of the purchase price. If you want more than that, yes, you want a market value bridge, Robertus. So let me pop a video, one of my YouTube videos. Let me go down and find that, and I'll show you. This one explains how to get more than 75% bridging, because it lends on 75% of the value or asking price, not 75% of the purchase price. So yeah, there's a way to do that. So look at the link I'm going to put in there now to that video, Robertus. That's how you can do that. So there we are. So thanks for your question. Moving on. Connor coming in through YouTube. Good to see you. Would you recommend buying a semi-detached house off the council at a discounted price? Okay. So what you're talking about there is a right to buy purchase. So you've been a tenant for X amount of years, and you're allowed to convert those years of paying rent into a discount to the current value of the property. So if you're a council tenant and you've, I don't know whether you applied to the council and you know how much the discount is, or you've still to apply for that. So it's, well, at the very least, it's certainly worth finding out. Now, the advantage of that is you don't need to find a deposit, because the discount is the deposit. So I guess you'd need to look at what rent you're paying currently and what mortgage rates would be. Now, the other aspect, and this is where some people have done this and it hasn't fared so well, is that at the moment, if something goes wrong with your property, you phone up the council and they send one of their guys round and they fix it, and you don't have to pay. And that stops when you own the property, because if something goes wrong, you have to pay. So, for example, if your boiler packs up as a council tenant, you phone up the council and they come around and fix it, or put in a new boiler. Doesn't cost you. If you own the property, it does cost you, and it's going to cost you several £100 or more to put a new boiler in. So one of the big questions is, how do you feel about taking on the responsibility of owning a house? If the roof's got a leak, the council's not going to fix it. You are, and you're going to have to pay for it, unless you do it yourself, of course. So, and hundreds of thousands of people have taken advantage of the discount offered by the council to buy their own house. Going back, almost 40 years, actually, exactly 40 years, because that became possible back in 1981. So would I recommend it? Well, I'd recommend you investigate it, certainly, Connor. There we are. So good to see that. So Hemi, what is the best bridging loan to purchase from an auction, please? Yeah, purchase bridge is the best. Hemi, so it's a purchase bridge. So there's 5 different types of bridging loan. You could also use a refurb bridge as well. Now let me pop that video in. So when we're finished here, go watch this video, and this will tell you the 5 types of bridging loan. There we are. Let's pop that in there. Okay. So you'll see the 5 types of bridging loan: purchase bridge, market value bridge, refurb bridge, done up value bridge, cross collateral bridge. So you can use a purchase bridge to buy at auction. Can't use a market value bridge. You could use a refurb bridge. You can't use a done up value bridge. And if you want to, like Graham was talking about earlier, if you want to use equity in a property you already own, you could use a cross collateral bridge in conjunction with either a purchase bridge or refurb bridge. So it'd be a purchase bridge or refurb bridge. Hemi, go watch that video. You'll understand the difference, and we can help you from there. Good. Thanks for your question. Simon, there we are. Do I get planning and quotes for the building works first to present to the bridging finance broker, or do I just chat to the broker about plans first? Well, now, depends which broker you're using, Simon. Now, if you're going to choose to use us as brokers, then I would say you chat to me first. So chat to me and tell me what you're trying to do. You don't need to get quotes on that first. If you've got a ballpark figure, so if you say, well, I reckon it's going to cost 25, 30 grand, let's say, to work out the feasibility of a project, that's enough. Where you need to get quotes and a work schedule is when you're actually applying for the loan. So to chat about it, no, you don't need to do that. Just and I'd love to chat with you about it. So I've given you some contact details there. So just message me and let's start chatting. Love to have a chat with you about that. Good. I talked about my Facebook group, didn't I, earlier on? Let me just pop in there. We've just gone past 800 members over the weekend, which I was quite pleased about. So if you're liking this, you want to be part of that group, and you're not part of that group already, here's the link to come and join, and you'd be very welcome. So there we are. Just putting that in the chat box now. Okay, what else have we got? Hemi says, sure, thanks, great, that's good. Graham says, thank you, great, good. There we are, Graham. Got a good answer to his question. Right, Carlo's come back. There we are. Capital gains tax. Aha. Okay. So you only pay capital gains tax, Carlo, when you sell an asset. So if you're going to buy another property, you're not going to pay capital gains tax just by buying another property. And again, don't take what I say as verbatim, because I'm not qualified to give you tax answers. You need an accountant for that, but I can give you a layman's knowledge. So you pay capital gains tax when you sell an asset that you've owned for a period of time. You don't pay capital gains tax when you sell your main residence. So if you're going to buy another property, move into it, and then make that your main residence, then again, you're still not going to pay tax as long as you hold on to the original one. If you're going to rent out your original one, capital gains tax is deferred to the point when you sell it. So there's no immediate tax, but you can't own two properties, live in one, whichever one it is, and rent out the other, and avoid capital gains tax when you sell one of them. So there will be, if you're owning two properties, when you sell one of them, whichever one you're not living in at that point in time, there will be some capital gains tax. But check that out with if you want more detailed information on that, check that out with an accountant. Okay, so here we go. Facebook user, I'll find out who that is later. Is there a product available that would allow a purchase, develop, then mortgage using the equity in my home, 600k as a cross collateral bridge? Yes, there is. It's called a bridge to let. It's very restricted availability for the simple reason that the vast majority of mortgage lenders don't do bridging, and the vast majority of bridging lenders don't do mortgages. So you've got probably a little husk of about, I don't know, 4 or 5 maybe lenders that would do that. And it can work well in some instances. And using equity in your home, if you've got equity in your home, then cross collateral bridging, you could bolt cross collateral bridging onto a bridge to let. Yeah, that would all work. If you've got a project, excuse me, if you've got a project that you want to do with that, love to get involved and work with you and show you how you could do that. So feel free to get in touch through the links that I put in the chat earlier. Happy to do that for you. Okay, so there we are. Good. A couple of more questions coming in. One from Dean now. Good to see you, Dean. So, what's the best way to buy my next home and retain my existing residential to lend out? Can I sell my home to my limited company with the thought of growing in the future? Okay, let's take that one step at a time there. What's the best way to buy your next home and retain your existing residential to let out? Okay, so at the given point, you get a let to buy mortgage on your existing residential, Dean. So if that sounds a bit back to front, it is. So a buy to let mortgage is where you buy a new property with the intention of letting it out. A let to buy is that you let out your current residential property to allow you to buy a new residential to live in. So it's a let to buy mortgage. We'd be happy to broker that for you. So just ping us a message, links further in the chat in here. Ping us a message and we'll be happy to do that. So again, there's relatively restrictive lenders on that because not every lender does a let to buy product, but we can certainly find one for you. And can you sell your home to your limited company? Possible, but do you want to is the question, because limited companies come with some disadvantages. First of all, if you've got a limited company, I don't know whether you've got this already limited or you plan to set up a limited company, but accountants generally charge more to do limited company accounts than sole trader accounts because it's more work for them. Mortgages are going to cost you more in a limited company than in your personal name. Now, limited company allows you to offset the tax in terms of the mortgage. Interest payments are allowable business expense in a limited company. They're not if you do it in your own name. But you need to work out whether you're actually going to save any money, because whatever tax you save, you're going to lose a chunk of that with higher mortgage costs. So you can, but whether you should needs a lot more investigation. Thanks for your question, Dean. Have we got anyone else in there? Roberta says, thank you, no problem. Jonathan, there's a good, good to see you here. Okay, if I already have a bridging loan out on one project, can I get another on a second project? Yes, you can. Not necessarily with the same bridger, Jonathan, but of course there are dozens and dozens of bridging lenders. So if the current one won't lend to you, another one certainly will. Now, you'd need enough cash deposit, of course, to do that. I'm going to, that sun's coming in there, so I'm going to let's put a bit more. There we are. That's better. It was getting a bit bright there. So yes, certainly, and fire over the details, Jonathan. Very happy to help you on that. Good. Have we got any more questions then? Oh yes, there's a few popped in there. Simon said thanks. Tip for Dean: find a place and become a tenant buyer. Yeah, that could be an option. There we are. But of course, you're deferring the owning the property then. So tenant buyers typically are people that don't have the ability to get a mortgage right now, but might do in the future. So if Dean can get a mortgage straight away, well, you question why you would need to do that. But there we are. Okay, Callum, what sort of fixed returns can you usually get for investing in developments passively? Yeah. So if you've got cash and you want to chuck it in someone else's project and actually take a back seat, then probably 6 to 10% is what you can expect to look for. Now, you can do that one or two ways: directly into the project, or you can become an investor in a crowdfunding site where you'd get a mix of projects and you could maybe invest in different ones. So there we are. Box is back. Thanks for your question, Callum. Box is back. Got a 10k pot for residential mortgage. Would I be able to use bridging to essentially recycle that deposit? Well, 10k deposit ain't going to get you far on any property, you know, for residential mortgage. So I mean, that's a really small sum of money to be looking at buying property with. Box. Would I be able to use bridging essentially to recycle this deposit? Well, potentially yes, but the value of property you're looking at with a 10% deposit, it is massively small. So it's probably unworkable in terms of just using 10k. Connor, can a 19-year-old get a buy-to-let mortgage? No, too young, mate. Okay. Jonathan says, brilliant. No problem. Okay, guys, so we seem to run out of questions. And if we run out of questions, that's the time for me to go. So if you've been hanging around thinking about, oh, shall I ask the question or shall I not ask a question? Well, you better be quick, because I'm going to wrap up this, because I'm only here to answer questions. So when we're done the questions, then, you know, my reason for running it runs out. So if you've been watching this live, thank you very much. If you've been watching the replay, thank you very much. If you've got a question and you're watching the replay, fire it in. I'll pick it up and answer it. And have a scroll through the links. If you see anything you like, please jump on. If you like the idea of having access to all of these videos on a word search facility, then scroll back and join Fiverr Tribe. £5 a month gets you access to all of these videos, and there's probably about 40 or 50 hours worth of content going back and growing each week, of course, because I'm going to add another one of these to the word search facility every week. If you like my Facebook group, then hop and join that. If you want to come to join my property finance masterclass, live streamed on the 6th of February between 10 and 3 o'clock, come and join that. And if you've got a question, or if you want to go deeper into a question you've asked, then just message me at Property Finance Expert, and I'll pick up. I check my inbox several times a day, so I'll soon pick that up. And as often happens, someone's crept in there with a late question, so of course we'll do that. PingDeMorte, now, good to see you there. There we are, coming in through YouTube. Is there any way to get a development mortgage which includes purchasing the land? Depends what you want to do with the land, apart from build on it. So if it's for your own home, so you want to build a property for you to live in, then yes, you've got self-build mortgages. But there's probably only a handful of mortgage lenders that do self-build mortgages, but yes, they will help you finance the land and finance the build. Now, because it's a main residence mortgage, it's entirely dependent on your income. So you need to, or you know, we would need, if you're going to ask us to broker that, we would need to check out your income to see if it was big enough to get you that sort of mortgage. If you're not planning to live in it yourself, then you don't have a mortgage at all. You have development finance. So development finance will lend you part of the money to purchase the land and to 100% of the build cost. So if you want to drill down in more detail, Ping, then just find my property finance expert page. The link's in the chat box. Just scroll up, you'll find that, and fire me over some more details. Happy to help you on that. Hemi's just said, thank you, it was fantastic like always. Well, that's very kind of you to say that, Hemi. Hope you get some use out of watching those videos that I said to you. And hey, if you're coming through YouTube, have you subscribed? Because I bring out a new video every Thursday evening, and it would be good if you got one of those little ping bell messages to tell you there's a new video out. But so if you haven't subscribed, then I'd be grateful if you did. So we are now got over 3,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so that's sort of growing steadily and nicely. Right, so looks like we're about done. So I'm going to say cheerio. Will B says, how do I get in touch with you? Let me put that. The best way to get in touch with me, Will, is to message me on Facebook. Let me just put that in here again for you. Where are we? There we are. So I'm just going to put that link in here again for you. So if you're on Facebook, Will, as almost everyone in the world is, in one way or another, there we are. Just ping me a message on there, Will. I'll pick that up today, and we can chat. There we are. Whether it's chat means swapping messages or chat on a phone call, whatever's better for you. Good. So, okay, great. Thank you. Good. There we are. So just giving you the way to get in touch with me, Will. Thanks for your question. Okay. So have a great week. Have a fantastic week. Well, as fantastic as you can have in lockdown, I guess. And I'll be back next Monday at 8:30, and we'll do it all again. So have a great week. Bye for now.